This is the Phil Taylor Jones Show. As always, we invite you to come along with us on our little adventures, whether they be political or current event or just something that we happen to like. You're welcome to come along with us. Today we're going to be talking about the 2016 Rio Olympics in its entirety. We've got some very good things to talk about, and we've got some that are not so good. I'm Phil Taylor Jones, your host, and let's jump into this Olympic pool right now. Yes, the 2016 games are over. They had the closing ceremony last evening. Very nice closing ceremony. Just, a pretty good feeling all around. Let me congratulate all the athletes, but especially our American athletes, for putting on such a wonderful show in American power, speed, agility, you name it. We Americans took the lead. I won't congratulate Ryan Lochte because he disgraced our country by committing the crimes that he did down in Rio. And in my humble opinion, he should be extradited, serve his time, and be stripped of his medals for his not just immature behavior, but for his committing of crimes. So shame on you, Lochte. You screwed up, pal. Anyway, let's talk about the beautiful country that Rio is, or city that Rio is. Beautiful, from the Sugarloaf Mountains to the little cable cars that carry you up and down, to the beautiful, beautiful buildings that line the shoreline, Copacabana Beach, and all that good stuff. Girl from Ipanema. Never did see her, but we know that she's down there somewhere. To all of the just wonderful sights that are there in Rio. It's a party town, so they really like to get down and boogie over there, as you could see from the closing ceremony. Just a wonderful place to visit and to have these games. Now we know that Rio itself has undergone, Brazil for that matter, has undergone a lot of trouble financially, politically, and there were some things that probably weren't completed, some venues. The water system there, some of it was filthy, but I think they did a pretty good job of cleaning it up, because for the most part, if you took notice of where they were doing the rowing, it was very kind of pristine and nice. You wouldn't mind maybe taking a dip in it. I think they did pretty well on a grade scale of A through F. I think they put out about a C plus. There was some gridlock and crowding and congestion. There was some crime, but they did keep it to a minimum. I don't think that there was too much of a big hoopla about Rio being such a scummy place to hold an Olympic Games. I would give them a C plus, and 2 thumbs up. They did a wonderful job. Now the athletes, they went there and they did what they needed to do. They showed decorum, they showed dignity, and they showed, that their countries were good at what they sent them there for, whatever sporting achievement that was there for them to get. They got it, and I think they did a masterful job. Phelps went there to complete his dream and complete his career. Katie Ledecky went there to open up hers, and I think she did that quite well. There were a lot of firsts, like Simone Manuel, and then there were really big carryovers like Simone Biles, Ali Raceman, graceful, and the Carolis. They did that piece on the Carolis, and I just love those 2 people. They were so sweet, and not only are they sweet, but they're true artisans of their craft. They got those girls all prepared and ready, and it shows. And what a wonderful retirement gift that was for the girls to come out on top like they did. In track and field, there were so many accomplishments and achievements by Ashton Eaton and his lovely wife, Brianne, and Mr. Rudd, Galen Rudd came in. Rupp. Yeah, Galen Rupp. I don't know where I got Rudd from. Anyway, he came in and did a wonderful job in the marathon. Bev Keflezighi was back in the marathon at a ripe 41 years old, and he came in with dignity at I think the 33rd, the person crossed the line. Well, for a 41-year-old person, that's not bad. That's not bad. There was so many people from our country that did wonderful things that I won't be able to mention in this short show. But congratulations to all of the participants in this Olympics, to Faluk Akinrado of the girls or women's volleyball team. This was said of her in London, but I have to bring it out because I would imagine she did that in this Olympics too. You know, whenever they fall or, you know, they hit the floor, they're sweaty. So naturally the floor gets all sweaty. So the people come, the maintenance and cleanup people come and they mop off the floor, towel it down and make sure everybody's safe. She never fails to say thank you to those people. And I think that's just a wonderful thing for any of the athletes to do. But she says, thank you for keeping us safe. To all the people who come out there, good on you, Akinrado, you're class act. To Carrie Walsh and her partner, what's her partner's name? April Ross. Okay, you didn't walk away with the gold, but you showed you had true grit by saying that winning a bronze never felt so good. So good on you. Now, we've talked about the place where they were. We've talked about the athletes themselves. Let's talk about the people who covered the Olympics. Channel 4. Channel 4, you get a big thumbs down from the Phil Taylor-Jones show. You might say, why? Okay, because you're too greedy. All those commercials ate up so much of the coverage time that there were some events that we love to see that we never saw. And that's ludicrous. You're supposed to be there to at least give us, I know you can't cover every single event, but to give us enough time to see at least some of it would have been nice. You spent far too much time showing us athletes that we have no stock in. You should have been focused on events or sporting activities that featured American athletes. Those are the people we sent over there, some 555, I believe. We wanted to see them. We have no stake in Turkey and Uzbekistan or whatever, or Uzbekistan or whatever you had. We have no stake in that. So you wasted our valuable time in doing so. Another thing, if you had, perchance, 60 commercials a day, and we know you had much more than that, and each commercial is about 45 seconds to a minute long, that's 60 minutes. That's at least an hour of Olympic coverage you could have done as opposed to showing us all those stale, dumb commercials. Bad call. Bad call. Another thing that you constantly did was your commentary. It was too much. Too much. I mean, to give us a slight overview of what the penalty would be for the sporting events is okay, but to just prattle on. We couldn't even hear the music for some of the things like, what is it? Synchronized swimming. I'm drawing blank. Too early on a Monday morning, folks. Synchronized swimming. We couldn't hear that. Now, the second time you showed it, we could hear it. But bad call because there were no Americans in it. We got a basic overview the day before on the preliminaries to see what synchronized swimming was for newcomers who didn't know. Fine. But if there wasn't any American athletes in it, then we don't need to see it. Our people aren't there for us to cheer. We're not cheering for other people's countries. You're too foreign washed. And that's a big cue for me for you to give up the reins and let Channel 7 or Channel 2 handle it because you are old and stale. On Saturday, you took coverage off the air for about 4 hours, which was ludicrous to me because I know in the big whole vastness of Rio de Janeiro, there was some kind of event going on that you could have covered. To my estimation, you took it off too early last evening to put on The Voice. Like that's something so great to see. We wanted to see maybe more of the closing ceremonies, but we were deprived of that. So yeah, bad call. You guys are too greedy. I mean, it's only an every 4-year event. Surely you can spend 2 weeks without having commercials, make it commercial free. But you're so greedy that you pinch off time, valuable time that the viewers could watch the Olympics so they can watch your stale, stupid commercials. So greed is one thing, and your coverage of it was totally, I would give you guys a double F plus, or double F minus, excuse me, no plus. So that's my take on it. Exec, you got anything you want to add?
I agree with everything you basically said. They put way too darn many commercials on there, and the same repetitive, annoying ones anyway, which took up a lot of the stuff. Sometimes we would be, as we said in one of the previous shows, we'd be watching one of the games start up like volleyball, and then they'd introduce it, and then time it comes back on, we'd see the score like 6-7, we'd miss everything. You know, Ryan Lochte, bad call, you know, he tried to say that he was just, how can you be so drunk you can't even remember whether or not you were robbed? He couldn't say when he asked him, he couldn't give him a straight answer. He's out-dancing Michael Jackson with his interview.
Oh.
You know, that was terribly bad. But again, congratulations from my end of the ticket for all the American athletes, all the athletes in general, except for him. They did a wonderful job and showed that we dominated. You know, the golds, we got, I think, almost either over 100 or almost 100. I think it was over.
Yeah, way over.
Way over 100, and did a darn good job with that. But like you said, the commentary, excuse me, it was
makes you frustrated.
It's kind of crazy, and they seemed to side sometimes against Americans. I don't know if they were trying to be respectful or not against the host country on some cases, but when they were doing the volleyball, you know, you would expect an ace serve from the opposite team to be Brazil had another ace serve. Okay, now so-and-so got it over the net this time. They fumbled it. But no, it's the opposite team makes it ace serve. Like they're so happy that America's lost a point or didn't get a point. You know, it's crazy like that. And like you said, the coverage in the last couple of days was crazy. The second to last day, I was trying to actually look it up here. I don't know if I can get this. No, I can't really get to go that far. Just one day ago. But I'll try to look it up right now. But I think at about 5 o'clock, yeah, this TV guide application is going blank when I go backwards too far. But at 5 o'clock, that second to last day of the Olympics, they just totally cut it off like there was nothing to show and showed some cartoons.
Come on.
About 2 hours of some little kiddie cartoons going around doing Olympic stuff and trying to, you know, treat the other players nice and have respect and stuff. And then 2 hours of news and an hour of something else. That was really ridiculous. But overall, it was good to have something good on TV for once. We don't usually watch regular TV that often. We're usually watching Netflix at nighttime and not too much prime time, anything. And it was good to have something unique and interesting, you know, that our family usually enjoys together, the Olympics. To watch TV from 10 or earlier in the morning all the way till night was nice to see our athletes try to do their best. And I do really like the Ashton Eaton and his girlfriend and his wife.
Mm-hmm. Very nice and sweet people. Very humble. Very
genuine. Very friendly, and, you know, kind of goofing off. The little commercials they had together were cute. First, you know, you brush your teeth first, so that's not a good thing, you know. And Mev Kaflezi and a lot of the other Americans were nice, but NBC did a really bad job with this, and to have that many commercials to me doesn't make much sense when you can afford to pay.
It's dollars to them.
Yeah, it makes dollars to them, but it doesn't make much sense to me when you can afford to pay $7.75 billion, not million, B with $1 billion to continue the coverage from 2020 down to 2032 for 12 more years. You know, if you can afford that, you don't need commercials. For once, you can let the Americans have uninterrupted coverage. I was on this game that I play and talking to some of my mates, as I call them, and they were telling me that they got live coverage and no commercials. Why isn't that like that over here?
Because America's too damn greedy.
Too damn greedy. You can afford to let people see the entire thing. There were events we missed, as you mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
There were some events where some bikies were on some hard ground like wood stuff that was like had
track cycling.
And they had a bunch of jumps and everything, and they were jumping. Some fell down. It was exciting.
Oh no, that was the BMX.
BMX had a bunch of jumps, and then there was the ones where the bikes wheels are totally covered up in black plastic.
That's the track cycling.
Lightweight plastic, probably carbon fiber, and that was interesting. But we only got to see a preview of it. Some of the other stuff like boxing or wrestling, they just showed a quick thing about what happened and who won, instead of actually showing the actual thing. It was very uninteresting to be forced to see certain things the whole entire time.
Especially if we had no people in it.
Yeah. And that was another thing, too. They're showing games like Croatia versus Germany. Like,
we had no stake in that.
Who am I supposed to vote for? You know, we did something else, like, you know, showered or prepared food or something. It didn't make sense to be doing that. It's supposed to be for Americans. And you know, some of them were really annoying with the way they were talking too, and being so emphasizing some things so much, and being so much in favor of the Chinese. There was this diver, an American. Her name was Jennifer something. I forgot, but
Jennifer. Yeah, I forgot her name. She was for Canada.
No,
the little cute one that you were. So you should have seen the exec. He was very enamored with this diver. It's a boy, and the exec has a girlfriend now.
But she did this. I'm trying to look up her name while I speak, so apologize if I sound kind of funny. She did this one dive. Might have been Jennifer Chandler, I believe. Let me get an image of her. And the entry.
No, didn't she have a Italian name?
Oh yeah,
Lochte or
yeah.
Because I think Jennifer Chandler's one for Canada.
Okay, well, whatever her name was, I'm sure some people can look it up and probably know who I'm speaking of. She did one of the dives. You know, if you played a game called Cool Borders or Cool Borders 2, Cool Borders 3 back in the day for PlayStation, they had this jump or trick. It was called a Misty Flip. It was basically a backflip with a 360 mixed into it. I forget what they call it now, but the non-technical term, it was a double Misty Flip basically, where the body was straight up and down, hands straight up in the air, feet straight down, and it was a double, one of those types of flips where they're flipping and spinning sideways at the same time. And her entry was astounding. There was little to no splash at all. She did better than the Chinese did, and I guess the previous dives weren't as good, but in my opinion, that should have got her to first place in the qualifiers if that's what it was. And they even said that she's just like the Chinese did, and the first time the female announcer agreed and said it herself, but the second time she did that, the male announcer said, "That's just like the Chinese, huh?"
Yeah, she didn't open her mouth.
And you told me she didn't even acknowledge it, like the Chinese are such gods or something. And that's what the problem is with the Chinese. Not to prattle on myself like they had. But those poor children that do that stuff, when you see them at that age, they don't have a childhood. You've told me about this before. They just sink them right into training from the time it's okay for them not to stop eating Gerber baby food, I guess.
From the time they're able to walk.
Yeah, the time they're able to walk.
What you call total immersion.
They have no family. They don't get to see their family that much unless they come and visit them, I guess. And they just head on into training to become the best, and they obviously weren't good enough to try to beat America, because we still beat them. I believe Great Britain came in second place on total medals, and Chinese was underneath them.
And I think Chinese overtook them again.
No, they did. Mm-hmm. But overall, it was pretty enjoyable, minus all the annoying commercials, really dumb commercials too. And the commentary was overwhelming sometimes, and they were rooting for the wrong team sometimes, and not showing events that we really enjoyed. There was a statistic on the Google Now thing, if anybody has Android, and you swipe over to the far left, and it's got special things he thinks you'll like, news bites and things you've been following, and it had informational about people about 65% of people search for race walking than regular.
Oh yeah, those are funny.
Than regular walking, and we didn't even get to see that. I don't know if it was even there.
I don't know if it was in the Olympics, but usually it's so funny when you see them do it.
Mm-hmm.
And there's some things on Google, some little excerpts from race walks from past Olympics. If you got a chance, not Google, YouTube. If you got a chance, YouTube it. Just put the Olympic walk races, and I guarantee you'll come away with a smile on your face. It's funny.
It looks so funny because they're trying so hard not to run, but they're walking, and it's the way our hands are moving and everything.
Their hips are moving, and it's really funny.
Really funny. But overall, we did enjoy it. 8 out of 10 or C for the hosting. A beautiful country, Sugarloaf, the Christ's surviving or Christ
overlooking the city,
or whatever the heck they call
Christ
it.
the Redeemer. That's
Christ the Redeemer. It's kind of nice looking. Not religious, but still nice looking. And the beaches, all the different mountain islands coming out of the ground, and just a very beautiful place and seemingly friendly people and everything. And well, that's our take on it. I'll let you finish off the show.
Thank you very much. And
welcome.
yeah, it was a beautiful thing, beautiful 2 weeks for the athletes. Once again, from the Phil Taylor Jones Show, congrats to all of the athletes of the world, and a super special congrats to our own American athletes who did us proud and at least gave our country some glory once again, because we too have our own problems here. So we thank you for that, and we applaud you. And I think the executive has one more thing.
I thought I did. I was looking at the Olympic medals by country, and seems like Great Britain is in second place.
Oh, did they come up over the Chinese?
The United States 121 total, Great Britain 67 total, China 70 total. I don't know why they're still in third place with 3 over Great Britain, but it still shows Great Britain in second place.
Mm-hmm.
But either way, a great job for all the athletes. They tried their best, and
Good on you, mates.
everything was good except for the rule about you get barred by doing a false start, like you broke the law or something, or you did it on purpose. That was uncalled for.
A little too rigid on one end, and in the case of this Lochte person, very laxed on the other. But other than that, good Olympics, and we applaud all of the athletes. And did you have something?
Just 2 more things that were kind of faux pas, just like the one we just mentioned. This relay race thing where this person was running, I think Allison Felix is running, and she didn't hand off the thing right. She tried to throw it to her and dropped it, or was in the same lane as someone else and kind of caught her heels on the other person's shoes running in front of her, and they said it was someone else's fault for being in the way, and they challenged it and I was actually able to do it. It was nice that they actually got a second chance, and I believe won. But then the men's relay, something similar happened. The guy was passing off the object. I don't know exactly what they call it. Baton.
Or the stick, sometimes.
So, well, they were running. There was like a little orange line on the ground, and he reached out before he got to the orange line. But as the guy showed in the video, when he pointed out what exactly happened, he didn't grab it until after he passed the thing. So just because he put it out prematurely doesn't mean that he grabbed it, and they didn't even challenge it, which I think they should have, and probably would have seen that they were right, and they just barred them from getting that medal at all, and that was kind of bad taste too.
Yeah.
But that's all.
Well, you reminded me of something too with this one strike you're out deal. It was a 4x relay race. I think it was 100 meters.
4x100.
This guy false started. Get out, pack your bags, go home. But to the other people that were down the way waiting, they got thrown out too. Now that's unfair. They didn't do anything wrong.
I should have been able to get a replacement runner.
Get a replacement runner for the one you threw out, and don't throw those guys out too. That's ridiculous. But other than that, that's something that's got to be hashed out later. There are different ad hoc committees, I guess, that are going to look into that and see, if they can get rid of this draconian rule. But other than that, it was a good games, and I look forward to the games of maybe 2024 or 2028, and see what they have to offer. And hopefully by then, Channel 4 will not I wish they weren't going to be doing it because they are sad buttermilk. Anyway, we're off to a great start on the Monday. Keep a smile on your face. Stay safe. Stay as happy as you can in this nutty world. And once again, let's try to dump the hate and increase the peace. We'll see you next time right here on the Phil Taylor Jones Show. Take care now. Bye-bye.